Okay, in this video, I'm going to do a walkthrough. This walkthrough is to show one of my adult children how to sell cash secured put on TQQQ. Now, this is not a recommendation for anybody else. This is me making a video that my adult child can refer back to when they are placing some of their first trades. And since I'm making this video for them anyhow, I thought I would kind of make it for entertainment purposes for anybody else who might want to look at this. And this is not a recommendation of what ticker to use or anything like that. It's just me doing an instructional video for, once again, my adult child. So what I'm looking at here is TQQQ. I'll call it TQQQ because my editing software thinks I'm stuttering and will chop off the extra Qs. So TQQQ is a triple leverage ETF for QQQ. And if you see my other videos, I explain that if QQQ moves up 1%, TQQQ is triple leverage and will move up 3%. And the same is true if it goes down. It'll go down 1%. TQQQ will go down 3%. So I'm going to try to walk through this, explain this for my adult child who has never traded any type of options ever before. So the first thing I'm telling them is you want to try to time things to increase your odds of being profitable. TQQQ is down a little bit from its high. So if I look at this 6-month chart here, let me scroll up. So it says 6 months right here. You can see earlier in the week, it was at like 57, and now it's down around 54. I would prefer it was down just a little bit more, but it might not go down much more. It might just spike back up. I'm going to also do this so things are relatively safe, in my opinion. What we're looking at here is the chart. So this thing here, this is called a Bollinger Band. You have the upper band and you have the lower band. And basically there's like a 90 or 95% chance, I forget what it is, that the stock or ETF will trade within this band. And if it snaps out like it did down here, it should bounce back in. And I consider it like going to a bowling alley with bumpers. So the bowling ball goes down the alley, then it bumps off one side and bounces off the other. But sometimes it bounces over to the other lane, but not really. But it stays within the band here a little bit. The black line comes along with the Bollinger Band. When you add the Bollinger Band to a chart, the 20-day moving average comes along with it. I have a video that shows how to set up these indicators in Yahoo. And also you can do this for free in Yahoo. You create an account and you can set up some indicators for free. So everything I'm showing you is free. The red line is the 50-day moving average. And I put those on there to see kind of where the price is going, what the trend is. And really you can see TQQQ is kind of going sideways, just kind of bouncing up and down, which is actually making it really good for selling options, in my opinion. So what we're looking at here, TQQQ was up here. Now this wouldn't be a good time to sell cash secured put, because if you did, you probably would have picked a price, let's say around 54. Well, then it comes back down to 54. And unless you want to get assigned at 54, meaning you have to buy the stock at 54, you might not want that. You might want to be doing this to generate income. However, if you do get assigned and have to buy the stock, you want it to be at a better price, like we'll just say 50. So what I'm looking at here is, since it's trading at 54, I want to look down here toward the bottom of the Bollinger Band of a possible strike price, because it looks like if it comes down here around 51 or even below that to 50, it might not come down that low. If it does, it'll probably bounce back up. Now, this is not any type of guarantee. It's just kind of playing the percentages. And the other thing you can look at is the RSI. Usually if the RSI is down below 30, it means that a stock is oversold and it's definitely ready to bounce back. But I noticed with the indexes a lot, the RSI doesn't get to the extremes very often, but you can still use it as an indicator to show that it's trending down. So there's more sellers than buyers. But overall, looking at the averages, looks like the 20-day moving average is actually going up a little bit, and the 50-day is been going sideways, but it might be trending up. So at this point, I will have decided, yes, I think I'm going to sell cash secured put on TQQQ. Now let's just look at what's called the option chain in Robinhood and see what a good price would be. And once again, before we go, we might be looking at the 50 strike price, meaning that if the price of TQQQ gets down to 50, we agree to buy 100 shares of stock at $50 of TQQQ. Okay, so I popped open Robinhood and I already did a search for TQQQ, and this pops up, and you can look at the charts here too, like the 1 year, and see where it's been. I mean, basically it just goes up and down and bounces around. And to me, this is like perfect for selling options. This is how you make money with options. You make money in options when it's going up and down like this, doing cash secured puts. And if you get a sign, you can do a cover call and sell a cover call. So down here, it says trade TQQQ options. So let's click on that. And remember, I said we're going to look at the 50. And the confusing thing that people with options make is that they want to say, I'm going to buy an option. Let's just be clear at this point right here. When I'm initiating an option at the beginning, I'm always selling. Now, you can buy an option, but I don't recommend that for beginners. And I should say, I don't recommend that for my adult child. I would tell my adult child, don't buy options, don't buy leaps, don't get excited. These YouTubers that are saying, you know, you can make a lot of money buying leaps. It could be true, but you could also lose all that money. And let me see something else. It's hard to lose money when you're selling options. Have you ever really lost money when you sold something? You probably made money. So always, always selling. So you got to come here and click on sell. If you don't do that first thing, in my opinion, you're doing it wrong. And then we're going to do a cash secured put. So what we need here, if we're going to do a cash secured put at 50, we're doing these on lots of 100 shares. So a contract is 100 shares. So I need $5,000 to do this, approximately, give or take, depending on what the strike price is. To make it nice and even, if we do a 50 strike price, we need $5,000 collateral. It's like you make a deal with somebody and you say, hey, let's make this deal. And the person says, do you have the money? And you say, yeah, I got it in my pocket. And they say, well, I want to see it. Well, in this case, the brokerage company makes sure you have the money and that it's available. So if you have to buy the stock, you can buy it. Now, when that money's tied up, you can't do anything else with it, but you do earn interest on it. Actually, Robinhood, I thought you earned interest on it, but apparently you didn't. But starting here pretty soon, they're going to start paying you interest on that money that sits there, even if you're using it as collateral for an option. So I think the interest rate is like 3.25% or 3.5% right now, which is better than a lot of CDs and definitely better than savings accounts. But you're probably getting tired of me talking, so let's keep going here. So I said 50. So let's scroll down to 50. And that's going to be kind of a starting point where we look at right here, we have $50. And this thing here is called the delta. So the delta means a few things, but the one thing you can use it for is a percent for odds that you're going to get assigned and have to buy these shares of stock. So the 0.20, you can think of that as a 20% chance that the price of TQQQ is going to come down here to $50. One thing I forgot to mention is this expiration date. So you can pick the expiration date of how long you want this contract to run for. I think a lot of people are aware of like maybe making an offer on a house. You make an offer on a house and you might give the person like a week to decide if they want to accept the offer. Getting back to this lesson here, we're going to go like 2 weeks out. So 14 days. So February 13th. Each brokerage does this a little bit different, and you have to kind of like get used to how each brokerage does it. So I also use Fidelity, and Fidelity, these numbers here are opposite. So instead of going down lower, the prices get lower as you go up. So it's kind of opposite. So now we're going to do 2 weeks out, 14 days, February 13th, and we're going to come back here to 50 again and see what that delta says. And now it says 0.26. So it means there's a 26% chance approximately that this might come down to 50, and I'll have to buy 100 shares for $50 a share. And in return, I get $1.22 per share, which would be $122. You just take that times 100. So I would make $122 if I sold this cash secured put at 50. Is that good? Well, maybe. Actually, let's look real quick and see what that would be. Okay, I actually have this spreadsheet. I keep track of my trades and everything, but one of the sheets in my spreadsheet here is a simple calculator that tells you what your return would be. So I punched in my strike price, one contract. The premium was $1.22, and for 14 days, I would need 5,000 collateral. I'd collect $122 in premium, and I would earn a 2.44% return on that $5,000. Annualized, saying if I did this continuously for a whole year, that'd be a 63% return. So that's actually a pretty good deal. However, would we say there's a 26% chance here? Now, for my adult child, I think the first thing I would probably suggest is that for the very first trade, keep the delta low to try to minimize the chance of getting a sign, just to keep their anxiety down. Unless they really want to get the sign, I'm saying let's keep it let's take it nice and slow, nice and easy. So as I scroll down here, you can see the delta 0.15, that's a $47 strike price. And let's go all the way down here to actually 45. So 45 here, that would mean that TQQQ would have to drop approximately 20% in 2 weeks. And I don't think that's going to happen, my opinion. And I'm talking to my adult child again. So I'm going to punch this in my calculator. So $45 strike price, only 11% chance this is going to get a sign. I'm only going to make $47, but we'll see if that's actually a very good return or not. So we'll change it to 45, and this was 0.47, 47 cents per share. Same thing, 14 days. So now it's a 1% return on that money. So that's in 2 weeks. And if I look down here, that's a 27% return for a whole year. So I can earn potentially 27% on my $5,000 or $4,500 in this case, because we're at the 45 strike price. So I'll be earning 1% return in 2 weeks. That comes out to be about 27% annualized. So you can see how people are making a decent income off of option trading. And there's only approximately 11% chance that you're going to get assigned those shares. Now, if I do get assigned those shares and have to buy that at $45, I'll just turn around and sell cover calls, which is kind of the opposite of cash secured put. Instead of using cash as collateral, you use your shares as collateral, and then you sell higher than what you paid for it. Let's say at 47. If I got a sign at 45, I would sell the cover call higher and collect a similar type of premium on the way up. And then my shares would get bought and taken away from me. I'd have cash back again, maybe even a couple extra $100. And then I turn around and do cash secured puts again. So that's how that works. So let's pretend like we're going to do this, but I'm not going to really do that because it's after hours for one thing. I click on this and it says continue. 5 cash secured put. Scroll down, see if anything exciting says anything here. Your break even is 44, meaning the premium that you collect is calculated in. So it would have to go to 44.53 before you get below the break even point, which is okay. Let's hit continue. So before you actually click review order, you want to see how many contracts do you want to do. So by default, there's one. And this part is important too, the bid and ask. Say we're selling a bicycle. Got a bicycle for sale for $60 and somebody's offering you like 47, you might want to try to negotiate something in the middle. So Robinhood always goes like the low price, which I don't like, but you can like look between the bid and the ask. And I suggest going somewhere in the middle because you want to try to get something a little bit better. So I'll put like 53. That's kind of in the middle. And it usually tells you, since it's after hours, it won't tell me, but it would say chance of being filled like good or low or excellent or something like that. And then you can click on review the order. And this tells you right here, which is nice because other brokerages don't do this for you. But it says you are agreeing to buy 100 shares of TQQQ at 45 on or before February 13th. If you are not asked to buy that, you get to keep your collateral. The $4,500 is your collateral. and the full $53 in credit. And this doesn't include the fees, which is like maybe 50 to 60 cents. So then you would hit submit, and then depending on how much volume is going on, you will have sold that cash secured put. And then you just sit and wait and be patient for 2 weeks. And you just watch this like a hawk every day. And if you're new to this, you will probably do that. You'll probably watch this like 5 times a day to see what's happening. And I'll warn you right off the get-go, when you hit submit and it gets sold, immediately it'll probably show up that you're in the red, because if this goes through for 53, right away it's going to show that the cash secured put is worth 60 and you're 7 cents in the hole already. It'll show that you're $7 in the hole. Well, that's normal and that's okay. You can't go by that, really. You got to wait a few days. And then 2 things will make this more valuable. And when I say valuable, you want this price to go down, because you're selling it for 53 and you want it to go to 0. And when it does, that means the whole 53 is yours when it expires. Now, what I usually do 9 times out of 10, or maybe 95 times out of 100, I will go in and buy this back later. So I'll watch this, and then when this gets down to, let's say, a nickel or 10 cents, and if it's like 1 week from now, this is a 2-week option, okay? So in a week from now, if this is down to, let's say, only worth like 5 cents, I'll go ahead and buy that back. And it's just as easy as clicking a button, say buy to close, and then put my price in. So it'd be the same thing here. It'd be something in between, a bid and an ask. I'll go in the middle, and I'll buy that back for like a nickel. Now I had to pay like $5 to close that early, or whatever the price is, but I've locked in that profit. So when I say I want this price to go down, because I'm going to buy it back cheaper later. So think you sold that bicycle to somebody and they don't like it, and they come back. So this bicycle, like, I don't like it. And you say, well, I'll give you $5 for it. And they say, okay. And so you sold it for 60 or 53 and you buy it back for 5. It's like, okay, that's a great deal. What do I do now? Well, you do it again. You just keep selling that same bicycle over and over and make like $50 every 2 weeks. Like, it seems almost like magic or something. I'm not saying this is magic, but kind of the same scenario here. So anyhow, that is going to be it. And once you do the sell, you'll want to come over and you'll want to have some type of way to track things. I have the spreadsheet here where I keep track of all my trades. You can see all the trades I've made. This is just in January. I made about 50 trades, which is more than normal. Just last week, I did this many and made $3,800. But I'm using like $180,000 in collateral to do all this. That comes out to about $10,000 a month on average. So that's about like a 5% return per month. Goal is $5,000 per month, but things have just been kind of working out pretty good. But I do take a little more risk than others probably. So I should probably take the foot off the pedal a little bit and be a little more conservative. But anyhow, if you're going to be doing these trades, if you get more than a couple going at a time, you'll want to keep track with a spreadsheet like this. And I give the spreadsheet away for free. You can download it off the description of several of my YouTube videos, and I'll put it in the description of this one. I'm going to end it here, and I hope this helps my adult child to make their very first trade. So if you like this type of thing, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.